got a coffee. That's better. So, I was saying, we allow that. What are we allowing? We're accepting ourselves as more than the image that we hold. So the caveat was to not worship false images of the self. So we allow, or we learn to laugh at the full spectrum of self. I'm not anything in particular, really. So why am I trying to hold up a false image? I can be anything. I can be a loser. I can be amazing. I can be anything I want. I mean literally anything, not just all the good stuff. The other way we can go with it is to recognize, this is a bit more mechanical, a bit more looking at the emotions, the mechanics of emotions, is that thought tends to cluster around feelings. And the feelings in this context are, you might not necessarily have a word for the feeling, but some powerfully somatic response, unpleasant or pleasant, tends to generate thoughts and generate narratives and stories. So you might feel this deep, empty pit feeling in the stomach area. And you could give it a name, doesn't matter. You could say, oh, it's emptiness or loneliness or nervousness or something. And the thoughts will cluster around it and generate stories and try and convince you that this feeling means something more than it means. This means you're a bad person, you're a loser, there's something wrong, there's danger, threat, warning, etc. And so the other way to address things that we're avoiding is to look at the somatic response in the body. Focus on it in a way. So the aversion or the avoidance is to distance ourselves from that feeling as fast as possible. Get away from it. I don't want it. It means that something wrong with me. Taking a sip of coffee here. But actually, it doesn't mean anything. It's just a feeling in the body. That's all. Just a feeling in the body. We don't even know if it's a feeling in the body. That's putting a story on it in a sense, isn't it? It's just a feeling. Somewhere. Feels like it's in the body. But if I close my eyes, think, and forget about the body, I don't know where it is. Suddenly. And then if I want to go one more meta level, I don't even know what it is. Get rid of the word feeling. I don't know what it is. But I don't like it. That's for sure. So we ignore the thoughts because the thoughts are the narrative that is fictional, based on a fictional character who apparently has a struggle. And we allow that feeling to be there, to be sitting in space. We can breathe in deeply into that feeling. We can explore that feeling fully. We can turn it around, look at it, not be afraid of it. We can try and expand the feeling, no matter how unpleasant. The thoughts will be trying to kick in and tell you that awful story about you and what it means, etc. We can safely ignore the story, now that we know that the story is artificial. It's just a narrative attempt by the brain, you could say, to explain a feeling. Feelings don't have an explanation, really. So we can allow ourselves to explore a very uncomfortable feeling in safety, knowing that the mind's narrative is fictional. Doesn't matter. We feel that out fully. We don't have to act on it or whatever, repress or suppress, etc. Just feeling it out. And what's really funny is it's hard to hold on to the feeling soon. It's after it's been felt and explored, the feeling just kind of wants to evaporate. into the ethers. And before you know it, it's gone. The feeling is gone. You can't hold on to a feeling when you are allowing that feeling or feeling it. It can't be held on to. And that's the unfortunate thing for positive feelings too. So we sometimes find ourselves trying to cling to positive feelings, but they too will pass. They will move through the system, so to speak, very quickly. So knowing that that's another sort of mechanism, if you like, or mode of the mind, we can get a bit more sophisticated when we look at our life. We can look at difficult arenas of our lives and explore the ways that we're avoiding parts of that arena or attracted to fantasies that help us avoid. For example, let's have another example here. What about people who cling to the past? They're always clinging to the past as if the past is still really, really important and I need to think about it and feel it out all the time. That's an attraction. That's something that they're doing. So you can notice the things that you're approaching or attracted to by the fact that you keep doing it, or the mind keeps doing it, you could say. I'm always living in the past, reminiscing, nostalging. So that's something that I'm doing. So there's a little clue that it's probably the flip side of an avoidant strategy. What might I be avoiding? I could be avoiding, very simply, the present. I don't like the present. There's something I'm judging as wrong or inappropriate or something. I just don't like it. Maybe my life is boring now. Maybe I lost my girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife or whatever in the past, and I cling back to that as the good times, and today is bland or meaningless or painful in some way. What else might I do? What about the person who blames themselves chronically? Always, my fault, I'm a loser, over and over and over. They can't do anything right, I can't do anything right. That's what the mind is doing actively. That's the fantasy that the mind is attracted to, is a flip side coping mechanism. What might it be avoiding? Is that we know that the self is limited. It really is. It's not a Superman that we might think, or Superwoman. So to blame oneself chronically is in some ways a way to avoid just accepting the fact that you're limited. You are a limited person, you could say. Notwithstanding the whole conceptual thing about the person. That your intelligence is limited, your lifespan is limited, your beauty, your talents, everything. You are limited. So what? It's true of everyone. It's true of everything. Everything is limited, if you look at it like that. Let's have another one. What's another one we might be approaching or attracted to? A common one we might see is the craving, everything out there is better person. This is the realm of where addiction you might say exists. The source of my happiness and well-being is something outside of myself. Something I need to achieve or get or gain. I need to become beautiful. I need to become rich. I need to become popular. I need to become unique, special in some way. I need to achieve something outside of myself that will give me that specialness. And this is chronically, this is what the mind in this person is doing all the time. And what that mind is in essence doing is refusing to generate or look at the inner experience as meaningful, or the source of one's happiness. The source of one's happiness is out there somewhere. It's not in here. Definitely not. So I'm avoiding that in a way. So you can see how those little dualities play out. Very sneaky. So what you're essentially looking for is the chronic or the chronicity of it. It's something that you kind of always do, and it bothers you in some way. You know it bothers you. And it's the sort of thing that you might go to therapy with, or, it might be a reason for therapy. It's like you see it as somehow a problem, even though on the surface it might not look like a problem. You know it's a problem because of its chronicity. So the flip side, what we're avoiding, is probably has a heavy or strong somatic component. So there's a lot of things you can do. You can also stop the behavior dead and see where the discomfort comes up. So if you're blaming yourself all the time, you're a loser, what would it be like to stop that? To not blame yourself. To not be a loser. That would be uncomfortable if that's part of your bag of tricks, your strategy to exist in the world. There'd be a discomfort there. You have to see yourself as a loser. Because you can't accept yourself as limited. And to recognize that that's the little duality playing out. The inability to accept yourself as limited whilst actively blaming yourself. The discomfort, the somatic feelings, the interpretation, you could say, in the body you're calling limited or whatever, isn't that at all. It's a feeling. It's a feeling that your mind interpreted in that particular way. We don't have to know why your mind did that. Let's just say the mind thought it was a good idea at the time. So we stop blaming ourselves, and we see where the discomfort in the body might come up. We could also accept ourselves as limited. We could just totally be limited. And remember what I said earlier, to see the humour in it. It's very important to have fun with being limited. It is fun to be limited. I'm going to play the loser today and have fun with it. Be a total loser. And it's funny. I'm not taking it seriously anymore. I'm taking myself seriously. Not taking all my roles that I've tried to be holding up so seriously anymore. Or I could go into the body and have a look. What's going on in the body? This deep discomfort that comes up when I stop blaming myself. Perhaps it's tightness in the chest, a real something there. I don't know what it is. Distress feeling. Can that feeling be there in that space? Can I take a minute just to be with that feeling and look at it? Let it run through me, perhaps. Yeah, probably. It's not too bad. Remembering to, importantly, most of all, I'd say, is to forget the story that surrounds the feeling. The story is a fiction. It's a total made-up fiction. What else might be a difficult one? Oh, this is a good coffee. Surgery is a good one. Or medical problems in general, but surgery in particular is one. This is something some of my friends have faced, and I've faced it too. It's not a pleasant event. You wouldn't willingly decide to have someone cut you open. It's a bit of a puzzle to the mind. Someone saying to you they're going to cut you open for your own benefit. So, to avoid surgery, or to avoid going to the doctor with health problems, could be chronic, could be a thing that people do. They just never go to the doctor when they've got a significant or could be significant health problem. That's something that's you got to look at, I'd say. And when I say you have to look at it, it's relative to if you want good health, let's say. Why am I attracted to that? I'm attracted to the idea that I'm okay. It'll get better. Like a denial kind of thing. A fantasy that it'll go away. If I don't look at it, it'll just go away. Or a fantasy that making up fantasies about how life is difficult anyway and health problems come and go and there's nothing you can do about it. The rationalizing, bargaining fantasy, perhaps. What I can't look at, what I'm avoiding, is that it's sad that I'm recognizing my mortality, that I am a vulnerable flesh and blood thing that will die. This was reminding me, the surgery, the health problem, or whatever, visiting the doctor, will remind me of that. That's what I'm avoiding. And there's what would happen if I stopped that fantasy, and that is went to the doctor in this case. If I faced up to my doctor, faced my surgeon, faced the surgery, what would happen is that feeling, the powerful feeling of something, would come racing up straight away, very quickly. There'd be stories around that feeling, danger, or threat, or vulnerability, etc. That's a story. What I'm really not wanting to face in that moment is the feeling, the discomfort, the somatic, visceral, good word, bodily felt vulnerability. But I can't face it with all those thoughts racing around telling me danger, threat, warning. I can't do that. No one can. The thoughts are always way too awful. But I can face the feeling by itself without any thoughts attached to it. I can certainly do that. So, we feel that. Don't be afraid to feel that. It's just a feeling in the body. No big deal. And in fact, if you feel it, you become a bit courageous in a way. You sort of feel like you're stepping up to a difficulty. It's a nice feeling. Even feeling difficult feelings. And after a while, if they're not being labelled as difficult, just as feelings, they actually stop being problematic very quickly. They just become these strange feelings in a way. And so, metaphorically, it's a bit like the space of consciousness or awakeness that allows everything, denies nothing, denies absolutely nothing. Anyway, sort of trancing out a bit here. Early morning, rain on the horizon, sun in the foreground, cows, sheep, crops, all that stuff. Hope you're well, wherever you are. Thanks for listening. Comments are welcome.